What if your struggle to find success in finances, in relationships, in self empowerment was ultimately coming down to one primary belief? Let's talk about it on the podcast today. Welcome to the Love in Progress podcast, where we deep dive into self reflection and healing as a catalyst for better relationships and leadership. I am your host and educator, Neena, and I'm here to be a guide to you in that process. Let's get started. I'm going to make a pretty wide assumption here that if you're listening to this podcast, you're interested in self-development. You're interested in understanding who you are better. You're interested in finding your personal power better. You're interested in leading your family and organizations better. And as a part of those goals that you have to be able to make an impact, both in your own personal growth and in the lives of others around you, there is a certain standard of success. And that success is going to be so individually defined. I can't even record enough podcasts to talk about the variation between those. But when we think about what it is to be successful in our own self-belief, be successful in our own leadership qualities, in our own relationships and families, that is a pretty key part of feeling fulfilled. And I believe every day we should have a sense of joy and fulfillment. And so if you're feeling struggle, like you're just not feeling successful in those areas, I want to talk today about one of the core beliefs that I really know is impacting your attraction towards the success that you desire in every area of your life. And listen, I want to just start this out by saying you should be pretty dang proud of yourself because you've likely achieved success in many, many areas of your life thus far. Maybe you had a goal to get into a supportive partnership. Maybe you had a goal to achieve a certain college degree or job. Maybe even an opportunity to lead in some way, shape, or form. So I always like to start out when we're going to go in and analyze a potential problem or challenge in our mindset growth. I want to acknowledge how far you've already come and that you're likely practicing the skills that it needs to fix other areas by noticing the areas in your life that are working well. So if you've got your notebook, like I encourage you to do with all of these podcasts, or if you just want to take a beat here with me and acknowledge some areas where you really feel like you have been successful, I know that that gratitude-based momentum is going to be really powerful in helping us identify why it is happening successfully in one area and not in another. Maybe for you, taking a beat here and acknowledging that you have worked a bit on yourself and you're showing up more patient and emotionally aware in your relationships, that is a success, a massive one. Maybe you came out of abusive relationships and you're choosing to be that change agent within your own family life. That's a massive success. Maybe you broke through some financial strain and struggle. That's also a success. So take a beat right now and just acknowledge personally how far you've come and certain areas that you can already see that successful impact showing up in your life. And whenever I'm getting in a cycle of self criticism, if I can take a beat just like this and do a fair analysis, an honest analysis with myself, and notice areas that are going really well, that will help bring in additional enlightenment to the areas that are struggling. Because this is what I know when we approach things with love, with compassion, with grace, we're going to have a different point of view than if we're coming at it with fault finding. And I love this approach to it. So use it anytime you need to. Now, this is where we're going to really deep dive into what I believe is going to help you understand and identify some of these core beliefs that are inhibiting your success in other areas. I want you to just take a moment here and take stock of why you believe you have been successful in that area. For instance, you find yourself being a more patient and emotionally responsive partner. You can go back and say, well, I think I'm successful in that area because I've decided to take ultimate ownership over my personal emotional responses. Or I have started to practice better differentiation between my partner's actions and who I am as a person. These are really great to come back and just take note of it. So I'm going to give you just a second here. Go through at least 2 or 3 personal successes that you can identify in your life right now and ask yourself, why? Why am I seeing success in that area? Now that you've done a little bit of analysis here, I'm going to go out on a limb that I think is not that far-fetched. And I am guessing that amongst all of those reasons why you have achieved success, likely one of the big reasons you found is that you worked your ass off. Yes or yes? You looked at it and said, there was a struggle, there was a fight. I really worked hard and sacrificed to this. Yes? If so, I'm going to talk to you now about how this belief that you need to struggle to get success is holding you back in so many other areas of your life. Now, I don't want you to mistake me here. Work is inevitable. Growing is taking work, but a struggle is different than work. However, we oftentimes equate these two words, especially when it comes to maybe a little bit more far-fetched success. We're going to take a beat here together and rewrite this belief and script in your mind that in order to be successful in whatever area you desire that success, you have to struggle to be able to get it. Because this is what I know. If you have that core belief that struggle is an essential step to success, you're going to create struggle in every area you desire to be successful. It's going to be something that your brain, your vibration, your energy will continue to attract. How do I know this? Because I've created it in my life more times than I even want to admit. Relationships, to me, I had a construct that there had to be conflict in relationships, that you had to really work through your differences in a gritty way, that fighting and, I mean, real contempt was an essential part of a successful relationship. That's likely a construct you have heard before too. We don't fight enough. Okay, that's bullshit, okay? You do not have to fight. Sorry, my language in this episode. You don't have to fight with someone to have a healthy relationship. I can count on one hand how many actual fights I've had with my husband in 17 years. We do have disagreements, we have misalignment of our beliefs, but a fight, an all-out struggle, something where your heart feels pulled out of your chest and you just like can't sleep or eat or breathe, that is not needed to have a successful partnership, marriage, and beyond. And yet, many times we have these constructs built in our mind like, oh no, I need to experience resistance to be able to have something quality. And that is garbage. Let me share with you a little bit about my journey with healing my relationship with money. To me, I really wanted financial stability. This idea that I didn't have to struggle every single month to be able to pull in enough income to feed our family of 6. At that point, I really had envisioned being able to help my parents more in their financial security, but I couldn't even cover my own family. And I just thought, gosh, I just need to work harder. I just need to get more degrees. I just need to get more jobs. And that construct was so hardwired. It got really hard over the years to be able to create financial stability because I was fighting against myself and my beliefs constantly. I thought, oh, yeah, it makes sense why we don't have money. It makes sense why we're not able to help my parents. It makes sense why I can't give back in this way because I just haven't worked hard enough. And one of the powerful constructs that were rewritten through this process came under the direction of a mentor of mine, Carol Tuttle, in a course that she called the Money Cure. And in this course, you become a bit of a detective, both for your family bloodlines and how they have taught you how to construct your beliefs around money, but also your own personal beliefs, how those have shifted and been impacted through your experiences over the years. And I had no clue how jaded I was in this belief, how ingrained it was in me that I needed to work harder. And because I wasn't making enough money, you know what that was? It was an excuse to self-abuse and say, if you were just smarter, if you could just work harder, if you could just stay better focused, then you would have better financial stability. So I was in this vicious cycle of not having enough money and then believing that I needed to struggle more to get the money. And then add in, I'm not smart, I'm not capable, I'm not hardworking, I'm not focused. So of course money wasn't going to come to me. I certainly hadn't put myself in a position to tell it to. And I was fighting against this cycle over and over and over and over again. And in this Money Cure course, alongside my husband, after identifying these core beliefs, we went at it with a determined focus to be able to break up those thinking errors and to replace them with beliefs like money comes easily to me. Money is like breathing. You send it out and then it comes back in. Everything is moving electronically. There's no scarcity here. There's abundance here. And it was a big shift and change around the energy of money. And then it came to down to more focused and determined beliefs and replacement beliefs that said, money comes easily to me. That one, I still catch myself in a little bit, but I'm on my way, always getting better. And when I started to believe that, I stopped arguing for my limitations. I stopped making excuses around my inability to create wealth. And it was really cool because the self-abuse stopped too. Pretty powerful how our physical world is such a mirror to our internal world. And just to give you a little like happy ending to that, we went through that course and honestly things got worse, which is sometimes what happens when you're doing that inner healing work. That energy kind of fights back a little bit. And it came back to say, are you sure you want to let this go? What's your real beliefs about this? And so we persisted with that focus. And within 9 months, we released about $30,000 worth of debt, completely changed our financial situation in 18 months because I attracted a business that I've been able to work on over the last 6 years with mentors who helped me with mindset, with financial health, with physical and mental health, which all contribute to positive, successful outcomes in finances. And wow, it completely turned our life around. So, all that to say, your core beliefs around what you deserve is ultimately the thing that is keeping you in a state of struggle. In fact, I would take it a step further and say it's a worthiness issue. It is an ultimately deeply rooted belief that you are not worthy of achieving success unless you struggle for it, unless you work for it, unless you sacrifice for it, unless you give up everything for it. And that includes time. So I want to ask you this question. What would it feel like to know within your heart that you're worthy of all the successes that you desire and more? What would it feel like to know that you could attract anything into your life, success in finances, in professional fulfillment, in your relationships, if you just let go of the belief that you have to struggle to get there? Wouldn't that be freeing? Wouldn't that be exhilarating? Wouldn't that be a joy-filled experience? And wouldn't the work feel like fun? Because you're on your way to literally realizing and manifesting those beautiful, successful milestones along the way, those fruits essentially of the process instead of the fruits of the labor. Ooh, and it's possible for you, my friend. Here's another reframe for you. What if the struggle, quote unquote, was everything that you do right now in your mindset to help solidify the belief that you are worthy? And what if right now, like a light switch, you just turned it on and started to choose that you are enough, that you have done enough because you are enough? and that the right things that match your vibration will constantly be flowing to you because you are who you are, not because you've done something to deserve it. What if relishing in that belief that you are good and worthy and lovable and able to achieve that success? What if you relished in that and that is what brought the success? What if we reframed it? Because if I have learned anything over this last 6 months specifically, where I started to pay attention to my feelings, I started to see them as an indicator of whether or not I was on the right path or if I was floating off and hitting the rumble strips. And I know that when you're in the flow of self-grace, self-love, self-compassion, gratitude, that what comes back to you is good and enlightened and fun. And those steps toward achieving your success don't come after you have been self-abusive or self-critical. They come when you express gratitude for yourself, for your process, for your insights. That's where true enlightenment comes. So here's your call to action today. I want you to just continue to focus on the things that you have identified are going well for you, because that momentum is a lot easier to get on track with than looking at the areas that you're like, "Ooh, I don't think I've really achieved the level of success I want in this area." When you look at those areas, you tend to go back into the negative thinking cycles. Yes, that you're not worthy, that you haven't worked hard enough, that you're not the kind of person that can get in that kind of relationship, which is all garbage. So focus first on what's going well, self-affirm, and come in and build yourself up. And then look at this situation that you feel like you would like more success in with the eye of self-trust, with a strong, affirming belief that you are worthy of that success and more, and that it can come easily to you when you believe that you are good enough to receive it. That's it, my friends. Success does not have to be a struggle, and the only person that's making it that way is you. So let's release the struggle, let's shift our beliefs, and remember you are always lovable, you are always worthy, you are always enough. And sitting in that security, I believe, is also a massive success. So let's go out with a newfound intention and belief and release that struggle. I'm excited to see what you create next as you do so. Remember to live well, look well, be well, and I will see you on the next podcast.